Alright. So, in between a few beautiful episodes of exploring around Solstheim in the Dragonborn expansion, I still should probably be making a few videos detailing some really good mods, because as more people get interested in watching the series of me just trouncing around, they're going to notice some different things about my Skyrim as opposed to what theirs might be. In other words, I've got a lot of mods running. It's taken me a little while to get them all running simultaneously while still working properly, but I've pretty much got it. And one of the ones, actually two of the mods that I get asked about the most frequently are the mods where my weapons come from. I've gotten several messages and a comment or two about a few things that people have seen in loot and have seen enemies using and have seen me using, including this thing. This beautiful axe right here. So what the heck is this thing? It looks like a steel weapon, but it's red. Well, I suppose it's time to detail a couple of these mods. So, the first one I'm going to talk about is where this weapon comes from, and the mod is called Crafting 300-Armoury of Tamriel. Now, don't let the name fool you, it isn't all about crafting. Mostly, you can craft all of the weapons in the mod. However, they aren't just added to crafting lists, they are added to the leveled lists of various enemies and chests, you know, just any place where you would find weapons as loot. This is one of my favorite mods for just for Skyrim individually because of the amount of variety it adds. So let's look at this thing really quick. This is a Daedric Nordic battle axe. Now you would recognize the model as a steel battle axe. However, it's made of Daedric material, that being ebony with the essence of a Daedra, meaning it's very high damage. It's really strong. It's as strong as what you would see Daedric equipment as in vanilla Skyrim. This thing is pretty. Ooh, look at it. Right. Anyway, so what we're talking about here, this is Daedric. This is the kind of style of weapon that you normally see as Daedric in vanilla Skyrim. Now you also see some of these arrows have odd names like Daedric basic arrows. These just look like iron arrows, only they're darker. And if I was to shoot one, you would see that the tip of it is red. I'm not sure if I can actually demonstrate that. It's kind of hard to see. It actually looks black right now, but normally what the tip looks like is a black sort of the iron sort of triangle, only the edges of it are red. So that didn't work out. You get the idea. And also you notice that what would normally be called elven arrows are called moonstone Altmary arrows. That's like a cookie. Arrows. So what is all this about? Well, Crafting 300 separates the material and the style from weapons. So this is a weapon that's in the Nordic style. Now in vanilla Skyrim, they're not called Nordic, they're just called steel. However, steel isn't the only type of a weapon that that Nords would make, right? If they were able to get a hold of some ebony and the essence of a Daedra, why wouldn't they make an extremely strong version of their weapon, but in the same style? So that's exactly what this mod does. All of these styles are learned through books. I don't think I have any of the books, but they're called Smith books. They just say Smith and then a word after them. There we go, I've got a couple. Smith, the King's Blade. This will teach me how to make anything in the Breton style, which is normally what you see in vanilla Skyrim as silver weapons. And the Forsworn Threat, which will allow me to make Forsworn type weapons, but in different materials. Now, after you read one of these, you get the various things under your forge, all of the styles. Materials are learned through perks, as in leveling up and getting those perks, which I can't really show, well, I guess I can, probably. To the smithing section! Yeah, so as you can see here, we've got Elven Discipline. This will allow me to use Moonstone. Nordic design. Things like steel, Nordic weapons, steel plate, glass, malachite, glass stuff. You get the idea. So combining the various styles with the materials, you get weapons like this. So normally, if you wanted a weapon that looked like this, you'd have to get a steel weapon. But steel isn't very good. I'm level 51, so I would not be using a steel weapon at all. But what if I like the way it looks? Well, with this mod, you don't have to worry about that separation. So let's just go ahead and take a look. This is going to be a fairly short video, I think. Well, actually, since I'm going to do 2 mods, maybe not. Let's look at the forge. So let's say we've got the various type of iron weapons that a lot of people are probably familiar with. And this, they're called basic. Instead of just iron. The style is called basic. So, as you can see, this is a kind of quadrille-shaped mace, and all of the stuff that's just normally iron. But now, I know how to make Breton weapons, so I can make a Breton weapon out of iron. Now, normally, this type of longsword is only silver in vanilla. I also know how to make some Dremora stuff. So, this is what you would see as Daedric, only now it's made out of iron. Which means I can find a weapon in this really cool style a lot earlier on in the game. They're still quite powerful, but they're not nearly as strong as Daedric weapons in vanilla because they're made of iron. It also adds these. These, you actually have to find these runes for. You can find these runes usually in like Draugr boss level chests and in dragon hordes when you kill dragons. These these basically power up your shouts and stuff. You just hold one of these blades, and there's one for each of the 3 elements. To power up your shouts and also magic, I believe. We've got some other things. I can make katanas out of iron. Just anything pretty much that's in the game now I can make out of iron. Now, even this normally doesn't exist. This is normally just steel, but I can make it iron if I want. So, I can also, let's say I really like dwarven stuff. I love the Dwemer weapons. Let's go past all this, that's for a different mod. This is normally what an iron sword looks like, but this one is made out of Dwemer metal, so it's a little bit stronger. As we keep going, we can see all of these things made out of Dwemer metal. They have a golden purple style to them. See? So this is a middle ground. This isn't as strong as a Daedric weapon, but it's stronger than a normal Dwemer weapon. So all of these crazy combinations can be made. This is the Nordic style, which is the steel style, but these are made out of Dwemer metal instead. And as we keep going, we'll find other stuff. These are for a different mod. We'll go into that later. I can make moonstone stuff, which of course is called Armory in this mod because it's high elven style. So if I find a book that lets me make Armory weapons, I think it's called like something about the eagle. I can make these out of every material. So if I say made a glass Armory short sword, this would be like a greenish color and things like that. Orichalcum. We've got all the orcish stuff. But now, orcish is a style, so I don't have to make, like, every weapon in the orcish style doesn't have to be made out of orichalcum, and every orichalcum weapon doesn't have to be made in the orcish style. That's essentially, that's the gist of this mod. So I can make some Dremora stuff out of orichalcum, which is a green style. Keep going, we've got Ebony. I don't have anything in Ebony right now because I'm a loser. Nordic, I don't think I have a whole lot. We've got the stuff in the new Nordic style, which is from Dragonborn, which looks awesome. I'm hoping they include that in the mod soon. But as you can see, we've got quite a bit of stuff. I need to get some more perks and a few more books in order to get some really cool stuff. But the silver, which is like a silver and blue scheme, Dremora stuff looks awesome. But yeah. So I think you're getting the idea. That's what this mod is about. This adds a ton of weapon variety. Let's say, you know, you really, really like the way that Armoury weapons look. Those really cool, like, dwarven longswords. But
always a pleasure to watch when a man like you walks by.
Cool. Oh, hey, she's got, like, a Daedric Tonto. You see, just random people equip this stuff. So, you really like Dwemer weapons, but you don't really necessarily like the look of the Dwemer metal, or you've just leveled way past where that stuff would be useful to you. So now you can find, say, a Dwemer longsword in the glass style, or in glass material, or in ebony, so it's like a cool black longsword. I really like the look of glass weapons. In this mod, they're called ornate. So I can say that the really cool appearance of a glass longsword, I can then make it out of Daedric ebony. So it's like a crazy looking red ornate longsword. That adds just a crap ton of variety. So all of the enemies will be carrying these things, all of the guards, just everyone that uses weapons will be carrying variants of weapons sometimes. So it just adds so much to the combat to constantly be facing enemies with all this different loot. And it kind of makes sense, because why would a certain style of weapon only be made with one material? That's not how it works. If the Nords got a hold of some glass, some malachite, why wouldn't they make their Nordic weapons out of it? And they would. So that's what this is about. Now the second one we're going to talk about here is where this comes from. I need to favorite this. This is Black Sting. This is an ebony longsword, one-handed. It looks kind of crazy. It's fairly basic looking, I suppose, but it's oddly shaped with that hole and everything, and it's a little sharp. This thing is pretty strong. As you can see, upgraded, it's not quite as strong as this. I actually need to smith this and maybe enchant it at some point. But, I don't think I have any other... That's from a different mod. That's actually from Deadly Dragons. Yeah, the mod that this is from is a mod called Immersive Weapons. Immersive Weapons adds more weapons, and again, it doesn't screw around with the balance. So, Immersive Weapons, you might have seen some of them. Let's go back in here really quick. If you look at some of the, let's just say some of this stuff we've got here. That's actually, the halberds and stuff are, I think, from a completely different mod. I've got a lot of mods. There were several in, I believe, here. Yeah, like this thing, the Blue Divide Shortbow. That is from Immersive Weapons. These dealies down here, this Great Blade, the Blood Blade, and the Wings Blade. Those are from Immersive Weapons. The Hawk Bow is as well. Let's see. I'm not sure if the Long Mace is. Let's go back down here. The Forebear weapons are. There's a bunch of Hammerfell weapons, which are in a really cool sort of saber style that are in that mod. It's all lore friendly, which is the point of the mod entirely. Let's see. Oh yes, the Orsimer Chieftain Bow, as well as the Third Arrow weapons, which of course look somewhat similar to things you'd find in Morrowind. These are, you know, very similar actually. These are also added into the game. There are a bunch of weapons from Morrowind added. And look at that thing. Yeah, a bunch of Morrowind weapons, but balanced with Skyrim are added. Executioner's Hook, Draugr picks, these crazy looking things, all sorts of stuff. The mod, it does the same thing. You can craft them, and you can also find them in loot and on people. You can see all of these things. Oh my. I don't think I've got much in the way of bone mold or chitin stuff yet. But yeah, so as you can tell, there's kind of a lot to this this combination of mods. It does a lot for you. It adds a ton of these crazy weapons that just, it adds to the experience in a pretty major way. Ooh. Because of the way the weapons are scattered along the leveled lists. So that means you'll be able to see them all the time. You know, it's not just that you have to craft them in order to see them. Enemies will be using them. You'll see them as loot. They're everywhere, which is cool. So that's kind of the main point of this. Just a quick little video about these mods. I will link you to them. However, there's one thing I'd like to say before I go, and that is that Skyrim Redone, also known as SkyRe, is a big overhaul. I want to do a video of it eventually, but it's going to take a little bit longer because it's huge. If you've played Oblivion, think of 000. I believe that's Oscuro's Oblivion overhaul, as well as Francesco's. Several overhauls. It changes the way the game works completely. It's still Skyrim. It doesn't change the main quest line or the story or anything, but it changes the way combat works. It changes the way perks work, levels work, everything. Just as a little quick thing, as you can see when I swing this, it takes stamina. That's just one little addition. That's the way it is in Oblivion and Morrowind. I think Daggerfall as well. Normally, in vanilla Skyrim, only power attacks like that take stamina. But with Skyrim Redone, normal swings take it as well. Potions don't restore your health immediately. All of the perks are redone. All of these skill trees are different. As you can see, heavy weaponry and light weaponry instead of one-handed and two-handed. We've got Wayfarer and Fingersmith instead of Pickpocket and Lockpick. They're different now. Speechcraft is raised with shouts and effect shouts. All of the magic schools and spells and scaling work differently. Everything works differently. And also the level caps are removed. I've got mine that go, as you can see, the Speechcraft is at 108. My Destruction is at 113. All of these go up to 300 right now in my version, and you can tweak that. So that's a mod that I will be doing a video of later on, but I will say that if you do use or want to use Skyrim Redone, the Crafting 300 mod comes with it. So you don't have to download them separately. So if you're going to use Skyrim Redone, Crafting 300-Armoury of Tamriel is included in it, as well as heavy weapons, which is where you see some of those larger, like, battle staves, large axes, and things like that come from. So yeah, there's that. And I believe that's it for this video. Any other questions, I'll be very glad to answer them, and hopefully expect a video on Skyrim Redone fairly soon, but that's going to take a little while. It's going to take some research and some preparation, so I'll be getting that done. And now, on to record, some more Dragonborn. I'll see you guys later.